The night he returned, the moon was too bright, bright enough to expose every secret I had tried to bury, bright enough to remind me of him. And when I saw his shadow standing at the edge of the old bridge, I knew one truth. Some people vanish, but the feelings they leave behind never do. I should have walked away, but instead my heart whispered, "What if?"
Before we uncover the truth together, I need to ask you something important. This emotional journey we're about to take is something special, and I don't want you to miss a single moment. So please, hit that follow button, give this a like, and subscribe to my channel. Your support means everything to me and helps me keep creating these stories that matter. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a single chapter of our journey together. Thank you for being here. Now let's begin this emotional adventure together.
The wind moved softly through the tall grass as I stepped closer to the bridge. My breath shook, but I didn't stop. Something in that shadow felt familiar, dangerously familiar. I had not seen him in 2 years, not since the night everything broke, not since he left me without a word. My steps slowed, my chest tightened, and then I heard it, his voice, low, calm, sharp enough to open old wounds. Lena. Just one word, my name, but it felt like the moonlight itself cracked. I froze, gripping the strap of my bag as if it could protect me. Part of me wanted to run, but a bigger part wanted the truth I never got. He stepped forward into the pale glow, and the sight of him made time twist painfully inside me. Seth always looked like the kind of man the night trusted, silent, intense, and impossible to forget. His eyes found mine instantly, the same eyes that had once begged me to trust him, the same eyes that had watched me cry as he walked away. "Why are you here?" I whispered. He didn't answer. Not yet. Instead, he looked at me like he was remembering everything we once were and everything we lost. 2 years ago, Seth had been my closest friend, my first love, my safe place. We shared dreams, secrets, late-night promises, everything that mattered. Then came the betrayal. Not mine, his, or at least that was what I believed, until tonight. Back then, Seth vanished after someone sent me a message telling me he couldn't be trusted. It showed him meeting another girl late at night, holding her close in a way that broke me. I confronted him the next day, shaking, hurt, scared. He didn't deny it. He just stared at me, silent, as if words would make everything worse. Then he left. From that moment, the world felt colder, heavier, emptier. I built walls, I changed cities, I tried to forget the sound of his voice, the warmth of his hands, the way he said my name. It worked, or at least I convinced myself it did, until tonight. Seth's voice broke the silence. "I came back for one reason," he said. "You." I hated how much that word shook me. "You think you can just show up after everything?" I snapped. "I didn't have a choice." "You always had a choice, Seth. You chose to walk away." "No," he said quietly. "I chose to protect you." My heart stumbled. Protect me? From what? His jaw tightened as if he was fighting something inside him. "You wouldn't believe me. Try me." He looked at me in this deep, searching way that made me feel exposed, like he wasn't just seeing me, he was remembering me. "The night you confronted me, I thought you hated me already. Someone wanted that. Someone wanted you to turn against me." I frowned. "What are you talking about?" "The picture you saw, it wasn't what it looked like." "Then explain it." He took a breath, long and heavy. "She wasn't someone I loved. She was someone who wanted to use me to hurt you." My heart thudded painfully. Why would anyone want to hurt me? He looked away toward the water. "Because of your father." The world stilled. "What does my father have to do with anything?" I asked. He didn't answer, not immediately. The silence filled with old fears and new questions. The moon hung above us, watching everything. Finally, Seth spoke again. "I left to keep you safe, and because staying would have cost you more than losing me." His voice cracked slightly at the end. For the first time that night, I saw it on his face, the guilt, the regret, the ache of someone who had lost something he could never replace. Something like me. We walked slowly across the bridge, our footsteps soft against the old wood. Seth stayed close, but not too close, just enough for me to feel the warmth of him, the presence I had missed far more than I wanted to admit. I searched for you, every day. I didn't know what to say. My heart wasn't ready for that kind of truth. You didn't have to, I whispered. His eyes softened. I did. I owed you answers. I owed you the truth, and I owed you. He swallowed. Everything you never got from me. The hurt inside me shifted. Not gone, not healed, but moving. Part of me hated how easily he still affected me, how his voice could still pull emotions from places I thought were dead. But another part, deep, stubborn, lonely, wanted to believe him. Why didn't you come earlier? I asked. Because I wasn't ready to face what I did to you. He paused, and I was afraid that when I finally found you again, you wouldn't want me anymore. My chest tightened. The confession was quiet, raw, too real. Why would you think that? I asked softly. He looked straight into my eyes. Because I broke the heart I loved. The air left my lungs. I had waited 2 years to hear something like that, and now that he said it, I didn't know how to breathe.
The night grew colder, but something between us warmed. Not forgiveness. Not yet. Just possibility. We sat at the end of the bridge, legs hanging over the edge. The river below reflected the moon, making everything look silver and unreal. Tell me everything, I said. I will, he promised, if you're willing to hear it. I nodded, and he told me everything. He told me about the threats, the warnings, the people watching me, the girl in the picture, someone forced into his life to create a lie, the reason he left without a word, the nights he almost came back, the pain of staying away, the hope that someday, somehow, the moon would lead us to each other again. With each word, the betrayal I had carried like a burden began to change shape. It wasn't gone. It wasn't forgiven. But now I understood it. And sometimes understanding is the first step to healing. When he finished, his voice was barely above a whisper. I never wanted to hurt you, Lena. I never stopped loving you, not for 1 second. My heart trembled. The tears I had held for years finally reached my eyes, but I didn't cry, not yet. Instead, I asked the question I feared most. So, why now? Why return tonight? He reached out, slowly, giving me time to pull away. I didn't. His fingers brushed mine, gentle, cautious, warm. Because tonight, he said, I realized something I should have said a long time ago. What is that? I whispered. That I want you, he breathed, still, completely, always. My pulse jumped, the world blurred, the moon watched silently, like it knew this moment was meant to happen. Seth leaned closer, but not enough to touch my lips, not enough to claim anything, just enough for me to feel his breath, his presence, his longing. I came back, he whispered, because I can't lose you again. My heart felt too full, too scared, too hopeful. Seth, I breathed. He pulled back slightly, eyes searching mine. You don't have to answer, not tonight. Just tell me this. Are you willing to let me try, to fix what I broke, to fight for you this time? The night held its breath. So did I. My voice shook when I finally spoke. I don't know if I can trust you yet. He nodded. I understand. But, my voice softened. I want to try. Something flashed in his eyes, relief, gratitude, longing, all woven together. He didn't kiss me, not yet, but he took my hand, slowly, like it was something precious. And for the first time in 2 years, I didn't pull away. We sat in silence, hands intertwined, hearts trembling, the moon above us glowing like it was blessing the broken path that had finally brought us back together. In that moment, I realized something. Maybe the past had shattered us, but the night we met again was stitching us back, piece by fragile piece.
The night after we met on the bridge, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard his voice. Every time I turned in bed, I felt the warmth of his hand holding mine. And every time my heart tried to calm down, a small whisper rose inside me. What if he's telling the truth? I didn't want to hope. Hope was dangerous. Hope was what broke me 2 years ago. But the memory of his face, tired, guilty, honest, wouldn't leave my mind. I finally gave up on sleep and walked to the window. The moon was still up, watching everything quietly, like it had been waiting for me to look. I didn't know if I was scared or excited. Maybe both. Some wounds don't hurt because they're deep. They hurt because they meant something. And my wound had Seth's name on it. Around noon the next day, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. My chest tightened immediately. I answered slowly. Hello? A familiar voice breathed on the line. Lena. It was him. I didn't speak. Couldn't. I shouldn't call, he said softly, but I couldn't stop thinking about last night. The truth in his voice made my chest warm in a way I didn't want to admit. We need to talk, he continued, face to face. No lies, no half-truths, just us. I don't know if I'm ready, I whispered. I know, he said, but I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a chance to prove myself. His honesty disarmed me. Slowly, I exhaled. Where? I asked. There was a pause, like he hadn't expected me to agree. By the lake, he said, where we used to watch the sunset. My heart tightened. That place. That was where he first told me he felt safe with me, where he brushed my hair behind my ear as if touching me was something holy, where I told him about my fears, where he promised to never leave, where he disappeared from. I almost said no, but something inside whispered, go. So I did. When I reached the lake, the sky was painted gold and soft orange. The water reflected it in gentle waves. And there he was. Seth stood with his back to me, hands in his pockets, head slightly down. The wind moved through his hair the same way it used to when we would sit here for hours. He turned when he heard my footsteps, and the look in his eyes, it wasn't just longing, it was relief, like seeing me meant he could breathe again. You came, he said softly. I told you I would. He nodded, eyes never leaving mine. Thank you. We walked along the water in silence for a while. The wind brushed against our arms. The lake shimmered. Leaves cracked softly under our feet. Finally, I stopped. Seth, I said, tell me everything. No hiding. He nodded once, firm, determined, and he began. The girl in the picture, he said, her name is Mara. She was paid to meet me that night. Paid? I repeated. He nodded. Your father's business partners, the ones who wanted him gone. They threatened her family to make her play along. My stomach twisted. So they needed a way to distract you, Seth continued, to separate us, to make you doubt everything, because you were the only one he trusted. I felt cold. So the picture, it was planned? Every detail, he said bitterly. They wanted to hurt your father through you. My breath trembled. Why would they involve you? Because I was close to you, because you mattered to me, and they knew losing me would break you. I swallowed hard, my throat tight. And you left without explaining because... He exhaled, looking away toward the water. Because they threatened you next, he said quietly. And I believed them. I believed that staying near you would destroy you. My heart dropped. You never cheated on me. It was not a question, just sudden truth. He turned to me, eyes shining with something deep and raw. I never touched anyone but you, he whispered. Not before, not after, not ever. A shiver ran through me. Then why didn't you fight for us? I whispered, the old pain bleeding through. I did, he said, only from a distance, and not enough. I know that now. The regret in his voice was so real, it almost hurt to hear. I should have come back sooner, he said. I should have told you everything. I should have stayed. I should have... Seth, I whispered, stepping closer, slowly. Stop. He did, but his breathing changed, harsher, heavier, like holding in pain. I lost you, he said low, and it was the worst thing I ever lived through. My heart trembled. Why now? I asked again, softly. Why return after 2 years? He looked into my eyes, really looked. Because I finally have the proof. Everything. Names, messages, plans. I can clear your father, and I can clear myself. My breath caught. And because I couldn't stay away anymore. This time, his voice broke. Not loud, not dramatic, just quietly, honestly. And that kind of pain is the strongest kind. The wind picked up, brushing his hair across his forehead. I stepped forward without thinking and gently moved it back. His breath stilled. So did mine. His eyes softened in a way I hadn't seen since we were teenagers, full of tenderness, longing, hunger, and hope all at once. Lena, he whispered, voice shaking slightly. I didn't know what came over me. Maybe it was the truth. Maybe it was the pain of waiting. Maybe it was the moon inside my chest pulling me toward him again. But I didn't pull away, and he didn't either. Slowly, carefully, he lifted his hand, not grabbing, not pulling, just touching the side of my face with the gentlest fingertips. A warmth spread through me. You're still the only person I ever loved, he whispered. My heart almost collapsed at those words. His thumb brushed my cheek softly, too soft, like he was afraid I would fade if he touched me too long. And in that single, fragile moment, we weren't broken people anymore. We were the same two souls who found each other under sunsets like this. Seth, I breathed. He leaned in just a little, not enough to kiss, not enough to cross the line, just enough to feel my breath mix with his. I want to earn you back, he said, slowly, patiently, one day at a time, if you let me. My chest felt warm and trembling. I don't know if I can trust you fully yet, I whispered. I know, he replied. That's why I'm not asking for your trust. What are you asking for? His eyes softened. A chance. He held out his hand, not demanding, not expecting, just offering. My heart beat too fast. My fingers shook slightly, but something inside me whispered, "It's okay." So I placed my hand in his.
His fingers closed slowly around mine, like holding something precious. A warmth spread through me. Something quiet, something deep, something that felt like beginning again. We walked like that around the lake, hand in hand, side by side, hearts trying to learn each other again. Nothing rushed, nothing forced, just the gentle, steady rebuilding of something that had never truly died. When the sun finally touched the edge of the water, he turned to me. "Lena," he said softly, "I'm here now, and I'm not leaving again, not without you telling me to." I didn't answer with words. I stepped closer, slowly, close enough for my forehead to touch his. His breath trembled, his hand on mine tightened slightly, and the air between us pulled warm and electric. Not a kiss, just closeness, a promise waiting, a beginning forming, a love rising again. The world felt quiet, safe, new, and under the golden, fading sunlight, with his hands gently holding mine, I realized something I wasn't ready to admit out loud. I still wanted him, more than I ever stopped.
After the evening at the lake, something quiet and new began between us. Not love yet, not forgiveness, but a slow, warm rebuilding. Seth didn't rush me. He didn't push, he didn't beg. Instead, he appeared in gentle ways, small ways, every day. He walked me home from work even when I said I could manage. He waited outside the cafe with 2 cups of tea, just how I liked it. He asked questions about my life now, questions people only ask when they care. He listened, really listened. Sometimes we talked for hours. Sometimes we sat in silence, but even the silence felt full, safe, warm. It scared me how natural everything felt, how easy it was to fall into the old rhythm, how much I missed the way he said my name, how much I missed him. 2 years should have erased these feelings, but the heart doesn't work like that, not with someone who once felt like home. One evening, he showed up at my door with a folder in his hand. "I have something for you," he said. Inside the folder were the proof, the messages, the documents, the names, everything he'd promised. My father's name was cleared. Seth's innocence was proven, and the people who tried to break us were exposed. He handed it all to me without pride, without ego, without expecting anything in return. "I didn't do this to win you back," he said softly. "I did it because you deserve the truth." My throat tightened, my eyes burned. For a long moment, I just stared at the papers, at the evidence that my world had been twisted by lies. Then I looked up at him. His face was calm, tired, full of a quiet ache. "Why did you fight for all this?" I whispered. He took a slow breath. "For you," he said. "Always for you." My heart broke and healed at the same time. Before I understood what I was doing, I stepped forward and hugged him. Not a small hug, not a polite hug, a full, trembling, desperate hug, the kind that happens when you finally stop running from the truth inside your chest. His arms wrapped around me instantly, tightly, as if he'd been waiting years for this moment. I felt his breath shake against my neck. I felt the warmth of him, the strength of him, the familiar safety I once lived inside. "I missed you," I whispered without meaning to. His arms tightened, his voice dropped, low and rough. "I missed you more than I knew a heart could miss someone." Days passed, then weeks, and slowly I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurting. I wasn't scared. I was happy. With him, around him, because of him. One night he walked me home again. The moon hung huge and bright in the sky, like it did the night we first met again. We stopped at the bridge, the same place where everything restarted. He looked at the water, then at me, and said quietly, "Do you remember the last time we stood here?" I nodded. "Of course." His eyes softened. "I was afraid you would never let your heart near me again." "And now?" I asked. He swallowed. "Now I'm afraid of something else." "What?" "That you'll forgive me and I'll still lose you." My chest tightened. He didn't know. He didn't know that the walls inside me had already opened, that the wounds had already softened, that the worry of losing him had already returned to my own heart. "Seth," I breathed, stepping a little closer. He went still, completely still, like he was scared to move, scared to hope. "You're not losing me," I whispered. His breath left him in a shaky exhale. "Lena." But then he stopped talking, because I took his hand. A simple touch, quiet, perfect. His fingers curled around mine slowly, like he was afraid I would disappear. Then he stepped closer, so close I could feel his warmth of his chest, so close I could feel the quiet, trembling breath he was trying to control. "Lena," he whispered again, voice unsteady. "Yes?" "I want to kiss you," he said softly, "but only if you want it to." My heart almost collapsed under the weight of those words, because I did want it. I wanted it more than I wanted steady breathing, more than I wanted sleep, more than I wanted clarity. And for the first time in 2 years, I wasn't angry anymore. I looked up at him. "I want it," I whispered. Slowly, so slowly, he lifted his hand to the side of my face. His thumb brushed my cheek, and then he kissed me. Gentle at first, soft, careful, like he was kissing something fragile. Then deeper, warmer, fuller, like he had held everything in for too long. I melted into him, into his arms, into the kiss I had been craving without knowing. The moon glowed above us, the world faded behind us. There was only his soft breath, his warm hands, his heartbeat against mine. When he finally pulled away, he rested his forehead against mine. "You're everything," he whispered. "You always were." My heart felt full, too full. I touched his jaw, feeling the warmth of him beneath my fingertips. "And you," I whispered, "are the part of me I tried so hard to forget but couldn't." He closed his eyes, breathing in my words like they were air. We walked back to my place hand in hand, silent, hearts beating too fast. When we reached my door, neither of us spoke. We didn't need to. Something was different now. Something had changed. He looked at me with eyes full of love, longing, fear, hope, everything he had held inside for too long. "Lena," he said softly, "if tonight is the night you choose me again, I'll spend every day proving you made the right choice." I stepped closer, placed my hand on his chest, and felt his heart jump under my palm. "I'm not choosing you again," I whispered. His face fell, until I smiled. "I'm choosing you now." His breath caught. Then I opened my door. He hesitated only for a second. Then he followed me inside. The world outside faded. The moon stayed shining through the window. His arms enveloped me, our hearts pressed close, and the night became a soft, warm blur of feelings, gentle touches, and the quiet, overwhelming sense of two souls finding their way back to each other. No rush, no fear, just love, real, steady, and finally ours. The rest of the night unfolded in the privacy of shared warmth and deep affection, and when the moonlight slid across the room, he finally got what he had always wanted, and I finally wanted him too. Their story doesn't end here. If you want more emotional romance, more slow burn moments, more moonlit confessions, subscribe now and join the journey. Your next favorite love story is waiting.